Hi, women of the world. Welcome to my podcast, Learning to Live for Change, L2, L4C, Fighting for Fertility, Episode 4, Under the Knife. If you haven't caught up on our previous episodes, please make sure to catch up on episode 1 through 3, as well as the intro episode. Today, I am coming to you live. I just want to say Happy New Year's Eve. I decided to come to you with this podcast, just a free flow. This is a free flow for all. As we're coming to the end of the year, so much chaos, so many things have happened this year. And I know that my most recent episode, which was Crazy Chaos, please make sure to catch up on that episode as well. I discussed the madness that was taking place in our world, in our society, and I had just decided to kind of get off track and throw that bonus episode in to kind of relate to all of you women of the world. So that episode was to help you. It was supposed to inspire you and encourage you to keep moving as we are transitioning into a new year. It is New Year's Eve, and I am blessed and I am grateful and thankful to be here tonight, to have my family and friends around me and with me, and of course to have my dear loving mother. And I'm just thankful. So I'm coming to you raw, like I am coming to you in the moment. Shout out to my friend, one of my best homies. I'm actually in Arizona, Tucson. So I don't actually have my podcast equipment. So I'm actually doing it from my iPad, so in my earbuds. So I'm doing the best I can. So hopefully the clarity is decent and manageable, and you women of the world can hear me and my message. But I wanted to make sure that I concluded this year with the Fighting for Fertility, Episode 4, Under the Knife. We last talked with the Episode 3. And that episode is when I was preparing for the major surgery. So let me just say, it's been a year exactly that I went through my major surgery, and I am very blessed to be here. And it was a long road of recovery, a long, hard road of recovery. So I wanted to put out this episode so that I can relate as much as I can with my emotions and my feelings of what I went through last year. And I'm going to be honest with you, I wanted to put this episode out last week, but it was hard for me. It became extremely difficult for me to actually record. I did about 15 takes. I had my outline ready to go, and for some reason I just couldn't get into it. I just couldn't do it. So it brought up a lot of emotions and a lot of feelings, because it was a very difficult time of year for me. And anytime you have to undergo anything, major surgery, minor surgery, or any type of procedure, it's hard for you. And mine was even more hard. It was another circumstance that also took place that didn't put me in the best place. So I was kind of dealing with a double whammy at the time of my surgery. So, but none of that matters now, because I'm here, I'm alive and well. So just to touch a little bit about Under the Knife. The night before the surgery, I was preparing, and ladies, keep in mind, remember the surgery is a myomectomy. I was told I had fibroids, so I have now transitioned from a gynecologist to a surgeon, and the surgeon came highly recommended from my gynecologist, and he's now going to perform this surgery. So pre-op, consultation, all of that has taken place. So it is the night before surgery. Ladies, make sure that you prearrange ahead of time the person that's going to be responsible for your care the day of your surgery. It is extremely important that you have a reliable source that can get you to and from your destination. So for me, I chose my nephew, believe it or not. I have tons of nieces, friends, but my nephew, for one, he lived very close. For two, he's very punctual. And my nephew's like my son. He's very caring. He's very understanding. And I knew without a doubt that I can depend on him 150%. So I chose him to be my designated driver, my POC, point of contact, the day of my surgery. So I told him a long time ago. I want to say I gave my nephew about a month and a half heads up, and he took the proper or necessary arrangements with work to make sure he was off for the day. And that was so nice of him. I was extremely pleased and happy that he was putting his auntie's health first and that he was going to be there by my side. So the night before the surgery was on December 22nd, 2020. Of course, I was a nervous wreck. At this point, I am still anxious. It's the middle of the night. I knew that I probably would not sleep, which isn't the best. Women of the world, I highly recommend that, again, you be in the best place possible. You want your mind to be rested and your emotions to be calm, because all of that makes a difference in your surgery, physically. You want to be able to be relaxed and not tense, when you're going in for this procedure. So here I am, I'm packing my clothing. They will give you instructions on things that you should or should not do prior to your surgery. So for me, I was given instructions of specific medications to take and not take, and what time to take those medications and what time to stop. So I know that I was told that I could take, I think it was 2 of my medications that night, and then I was to follow up with 1 of them the next morning. Also, water. Your water intake is important. You are not allowed to consume a certain amount of water after a certain time. I want to say it was 3 or 3:30 a.m. So I really tried to make sure that I followed the guideline as much as possible, because again, when you do those things, then you are hoping and expecting a great outcome from your surgery. So I'm home, I'm packing. I want to say that we had made proper arrangements for my nephew to pick me up at about 4:30. We needed to be at the pre-op at the hospital at about, I want to say 5:30 was the time confirmed, and surgery was taking place at 7:30. So as I'm packing, sorry guys, I got a phone call coming through. Literally, this is live. So as I'm packing, I'm just praying to God, and I'm asking God to just help me be able to go through with this. Help me be able to follow through with this surgery, and I'm praying for the best outcome possible. So I decided that night that I wasn't going to sleep. So guess what? It's 4:30. My nephew is coming. He texts me. He's outside. Packing is finished. All the things that they had informed me to do prior to surgery is complete. And we are on our way to, I can say this at least, we are on our way to the medical center. Remember, one of the doctors that was performing on me was one of the best doctors that was recommended to me, and the hospital was one of the best hospitals, people may say, in the nation, and some may even say in the world. There's women that come all over the world to give birth and to be cared for pre and postnatal with this hospital. So I was very gracious to be able to have the insurance to select this hospital for my surgery and for my aftercare. So we are now arriving at the hospital. It is super early, bright in the morning. Actually, it wasn't even bright in the morning. I don't even think the sun had risen yet. But we're now at the hospital, and I have to get my nephew checked in. So he gets a bracelet. And my nephew was super excited because they were very tech savvy. So I think they gave him an app to download. And with that app, he would be able to follow my procedure. So pretty neat. While I was in surgery, from the cutting to the sewing back up to the taking out the fibroids, he was able to follow along and know exactly what was taking place. So after we check in, you sit for a little bit. It's not that many people, so they only schedule enough people to where the waiting room is not overcrowded. So I want to say probably about maybe 3 or 4 women that was having a procedure that morning. And you wait patiently, and then they call you back. So it's my time. It's my time to go back, and I'm going back to the pre-op room, and there is a RN, there's a nurse who's coming in, and we're chatting. She is asking me some questions. Of course, I'm letting her know I'm nervous, and super sweet. She is getting ready to draw an IV into my arm, and at that time, the adrenaline was pumping. Okay, I was so nervous. Oh my goodness. I mean, this is the most nervous I've ever been probably in my entire life. So my nephew stayed actually back while she took me back because I had to change into a gown. And then they gave us some wipes. They were warm cloths that you could wipe yourself down, make sure you clean yourself properly. So I did do that the night before, and then when you get there that morning, you also had to do the same. So I just completed doing that. I now have on a hospital gown, and I'm in the bed. She's now drawing an IV to make sure that I have some, some nice fluids going into my body. And then we wait. We wait. So next is the anesthesiologist, which I told you they're pretty hardcore. He comes into the room, introduce himself, and he asked me a couple of questions, asked me that I have any questions, and of course I had already did all my research prior. My only concern was just hypertension, making sure my anxiety levels were okay, and if they were to spike while I was under, how would that be? Would I be okay? So, and of course, the anesthesiologist is like, oh yeah, you're good. You did your follow up with your cardiologist. You're good to go. We don't see anything alarming or anything concerning to where we don't feel like we should proceed. So that was good news. I was excited, and they checked my blood pressure. It was pretty decent. It was pretty stable. So after the anesthesiologist, it was time for me to meet with the surgeon. So a little bit passed by, and then he came in, and he was like, "Are you ready?" I was like, "Are you ready?" And my nephew laughed, and I asked him about how long the procedure was going to be. I think I did my research on it, but I just want to reconfirm the length of the surgery. And I had asked my nephew if he had any questions, and I remember my nephew making a statement, just take care of my auntie. And I was like, oh, so sweet, my nephew. And having that support system is extremely important. So please, women of the world, if you ever have to undergo a surgery, whether it's minor or major, I strongly recommend you having a support system with you. Make sure you have somebody there with you that you can rely on, even if it's a close friend, of course, those of you who are married, you could be your husband or your wife, or again, it could just be a family member or a friend, but someone that you're close to that can, show you compassion and, pray for you as well, So anyhow, my biggest concern was having the anxiety and, going into the surgery room. So they all knew that was a very, very big concern for me. So that was a discussion that was made prior to the pre-op arrangements that, hey, if there's going to be a mask that have to go over my face, I'm not going to be able to do it. So we need to make proper arrangements to where I cannot know, like, I'm about to have surgery. And I know that's weird because it's like, what do you mean you not to know you're about to have surgery? Like, you're here right now in the moment, it's happening. But my anxiety level was through the roof. So I'm like, oh my God, is there a way that you could just help me? And of course I'm going to be under, but just to get under was stressing me out, right? So another physician came in the room, and in the IV, they injected something. And I was like, oh my God, this is it. It's happening. Oh my goodness, this is it. And they rolled me back. So they left my nephew behind. They rolled me back to the operation room. And it's exactly what you see on TV. The bright lights, you have all the equipments lined up, everybody's in position. People are getting prepared. And then you're here, you're on your bed, you're lying backwards, and you're looking up at bright lights, and you're like, oh my God, this is it. And just like that, you're awake. I'm now awake, and I'm in the post-op. And it's crazy. That pause, that's about as quick as you go under, and it's about as quick as you wake up. I know, it's crazy. Now, of course, you're under longer than that, but that's exactly how it felt. It felt like the blink of an eye in a split second. I'm going to sleep and I'm waking up. Thank God for science. Thank God for medicine, right? Because it was very easily done, you know. So I'm now in post-op. I'm in the recovery room, and it's very small. Just a few patients that's in the recovery room. They come in. You have a nurse that's with you, making sure that you're okay, you're breathing. They're giving you small sips of water. I woke up a little bit stressed, a little intense, so they had to kind of calm me down a little bit. I think I woke up like trying to take the cords and everything out of me. I was like, where am I? Get me out of here. Oh no, I gotta go. So it was a little crazy. And then it only took me a few minutes to come down to reality, and realization of where I was. I think they asked me my name and the hospital and do I know what just took place. So just like that, the surgery was completed. Now, the surgery took, I want to say, about 2 hours. But again, with the anesthesia, you go to sleep, you wake up. It's just like that, you know. So, and I was in pain, you know, and I was uncomfortable, but I was alive and I was well, you know. So, and again, I had my nephew that I could look over to and smile, you know, because I had his support. So, again, that's extremely important. Women of the world, make sure you have that because it does wonders for your emotions. You never want to do anything like this alone. So please, please, please make sure that you have that support. So now I'm going to rest a little bit in the post-op room, in the recovery room, and then they're going to take me up into a room. So I'm going to be staying in the hospital for a few days. And I'm actually staying up on the floor with the pregnant women. So that was pretty cool. And I had my own private room, and my nephew came up with me as well. And I was in pain. I was bandaged up around my abdomen, of course, and I had a catheter in me. So, and a catheter is so that I can go to the bathroom because, of course, right after surgery I couldn't walk. Right. So, and I was in a lot of pain, ladies. It was excruciating pain. And all I could do is lay down and rest, you know. So this is the one time I told myself, Felicia, you know, rest. God is in control. Let the women take care of you. You know, don't fight it. Let them do what they are here to do, which is to make sure that you are happy, make sure you have comfort, and to make sure that you continue recovering well. So that's what I did, you know. So my nephew stayed to about, I want to say 5 or 6 that evening, and I was in and out of sleep, of course, and, you know, family and friends were checking on me and texting me to make sure that I was okay. And my nephew had then told me he was going to go and let me rest, and that was fine, you know. So, of course, you are medicated, heavily medicated. They put medication in your IV so that you can sleep and, you know, have a good sleep, you know, because you're in pain, you know, you're coming from a major surgery. And again, for ladies, women of the world who are tuning in or who have not caught the most recent episodes of mine, remember, it is a myomectomy, and that is a removal of fibroids from the uterus. And so I'm fighting for fertility. So by me fighting for fertility, this was a surgery that I had to have. It was no option. And so I started off my episodes in this season, Fighting for Fertility, episode 1, and that was unanswered questions. telling you ladies that sometimes we don't know why we go through what we go through. Why do we have fibroids? Why do women at a certain age have these, these fibroids, very prominent in minority women, black women and Spanish women. And again, all women have them and go through this, but it has been known that minority women suffer from these fibroids the most. So please go and catch up on those episodes so that you can be in the loop and in tune in what it is that Fighting for Fertility is about. And I'm giving you hope, I'm giving you hope that you can continue to fight for your fertility. And one day your dreams will be your reality. Your dreams will come true. I strongly believe that me and my mother's relationship is absolutely amazing. So I know that God is going to bless me to be a mother. I'm my mother's last child. So she has to have her last grandchild, before she leaves this place. And I know that God is going to allow me to do that. He is going to happily allow me to grant that to my mother. So that's why I'm fighting for my fertility. And every woman is different. We all have our reasons of why and what we're doing. So just be clear of what you're doing, understand what you're doing, and be happy with what you're doing. Don't allow any outside judgment cloud your mind. Share how you feel. Talk about it, have discussions about it, because there's somebody out there that's going through what you're going through. Believe it or not, this fertility battles for women, it's a big deal. And it is a lot of women that is going through it. And a lot of women are suffering in silence. And what we do here at Learning to Live for Change, we are advocating change for women. So we want to change the dynamics of how things are done in this world. So we don't want women to keep quiet or keep silent about fibroids. You have a fibroid, you're having infertility issues, or you're having endometriosis, or something that's consisting of, a problem with the reproductive system, talk about it, get help about it. There's so many resources that you can use and utilize to get information that you need to move forward with your plans. Don't feel like your life has to stop because, oh my goodness, I'm reaching a certain age, it's too late, because it's not. So we want you to become knowledgeable as early as possible so that you, women of the world, can be in control of your body. And of course, with the medical professionals that we have, and with the knowledge that they have and the science that exists in this world, anything is possible. So I am going to end on this note of Happy New Year. I just completed 4 episodes, including a bonus episode, Crazy Chaos, and that I recorded last week. Be sure to check that out as well. That was just living in the moment with all the madness going on. It fell on my heart to have that episode. So, but we've now completed our 4th episode of Fighting for Fertility. So we're coming to an end of the season. Season 1 has ended, and it's perfect timing because it was exactly a year ago today that I had just completed my surgery, my major surgery, and I was now in recovery. So we're going to pick up after the new year. It's going to be season 2 for Fighting for Fertility. And this is going to be talking about my recovery. And I'm going to be sharing with you some things that I found out that I went through during the recovery, and even more things that there is to learn after you have a major surgery. So thank everybody for listening. I'm so happy. I'm so blessed. I'm excited to be here with my friend. This is my friend I travel with. We go everywhere. So I wanted some peace, and literally I'm here with the moonlight on, and hopefully you guys can hear me pretty well because I don't have my headset set. I don't have my recording studio equipment. But you know what? What the heck? I wanted to do it. I wanted to put it out before the new year, and I did it, and hopefully I did it successfully. So Happy New Year, women of the world. Stay blessed. Please don't forget to share, subscribe, and like my podcast. And don't forget, it's not about making a difference all the women in the world. It is making a difference. It's making a difference one woman at a time. So we are making a difference one woman at a time. So yeah, eventually we're gonna we're going to expand. We want the whole world to listen, but we're happy right now with that one woman that we make a difference in her life. So until then, women of the world, Happy New Year and have a great night. Take care.